How many years have you been doing martial arts?
I've been doing martial arts approximately 50 years, maybe more. And when I say martial arts, I'm referring to judo, karate, boxing, which is one of my biggest love, kung fu, southern praying mantis, juk lum pai, and Wing Chun. So in general, throughout all those, I've done, and Kali, the Filipino martial arts. So yes, I would say in general, it would be about 50 years, approximately.
How did you get into martial arts and why?
Martial art is something that I've always admired. When I was a younger individual, I used to watch wrestling with my mother and my brother. We used to watch wrestling on TV, all right? And I used to see so many things that they'd done I wanted to do and somewhat imitate them. So yes, I've always been infatuated with martial arts in general, and fighting in general. And again, I grew up fighting. So fighting has been one of my, something that I enjoyed doing, and not that I was a bully or anything to that nature, but I enjoy combat. And so therefore, that's what triggered me to really get into martial arts and pursue it to the level where I'm at now.
What excites you about teaching?
What excites me about teaching is just to see the individuals when they first come in. I can see the desire, the passion, the wanting to really learn. And it reminds me of me when I was younger and how much I wanted to learn martial arts. And so it excites me to see how they come in and learn. And it excites me even more to know that they are learning. And I think it's fantastic to see young people that, who really, really enjoy the art, and I've seen them mature. That's even better because I've seen them mature to a much, much different level. And I really, really appreciate that. It excites me that a lot of that stuff have come from me. So we're like a father and a son. They're my children. And it's great to see your children prosper in anything, but in this particular thing, the martial arts.
What drew you to Wing Chun?
What drew me to Wing Chun? What drew me to Wing Chun was definitely, without a doubt, was Bruce Lee, who back in the 60s, he did the Green Hornet back in 1966, 65. I saw what he was doing, and actually it really moved me to the point where I want some of that. And though I've done other martial arts, what I saw in him and what he projected in the movies was like absolutely beyond compare. And so he was definitely one of my favorite martial artists. Though I couldn't find Wing Chun in the 60s, this is where I found Southern Praying Mantis and juk lum pai, and I fell in love with this. And later I found out that my teacher, Jim Mark, actually, Bruce Lee spent 3 weeks with him. And so that was like awesome. And anyway, one thing led to another where I finally found a Wing Chun teacher by the name of Duncan Leong, and from there the rest is history. I've been doing his art since the early 70s, and here I am today teaching the art and parting with my knowledge and giving it to my children, to my students, to my disciples, and it's been wonderful. It's been a great journey.
Who have you trained with in the Wing Chun world or community?
I have trained with a lot of Wing Chun people. In particular, I've trained with a lot of first generation of Yip Men students. They've done seminars here in New York. They've done it other places where I pursued it. So yes, I have done a lot of Wing Chun with first generation and second generation students of Yip Men. And it's, again, I have grown to see that there's a lot of some differences in how teachers Wing Chun. But again, the essence are always there. And so yes, it has been a very learning process and journey for me. As far as Wing Chun is concerned.
Collectively, how many different arts have you learned?
Collectively, I've learned many arts. As an individual who knew an art that everybody wanted, and that was back then Southern Praying Mantis back in the 60s, there's a lot of other people that I met who've done Bagua, who's done Xingyi, who's done Fujiao, Jinjiao, who's done many systems. And what I've done, we always trade. I was curious about their system, they were curious about mine, and we exchanged. So in essence, I've learned a lot of arts. You know, I've learned at least the essence of their art. And so again, bottom line is that Wing Chun, it was the one that stole my heart, and today Wing Chun is the core of what I teach.
How old is the Wing Chun Kali System?
The Wing Chun Kali System now has been around for some time, approximately 30 years. I've been doing Wing Chun Kali System. I've been teaching Wing Chun Kali System, and it's an awesome system. And those who really want to learn it and really want to dedicate to themselves, well, there's a group of my people that I teach, including my son. I would suggest that if you really want to learn the art, there's a list in the website, and my son would have a name of those people who actually have learned from me and are now qualified to teach the system that I teach.
Have you taught the Wing Chun Kali System to your children?
Yes, I have taught the Wing Chun Kali System to my children a long time. When my daughter, who I won't give you her age because she'll be upset with me, but I would say a good 4 decades ago. And I taught it to her. I taught Wing Chun Kali to my son Joe, though his love has been Wing Chun, which is the core of what he does, who's been with me since the age of 5. I've been teaching him martial art. I've taught him boxing. Really one of the most dedicated students that I've had, and Raymond Diaz. And these are 2 of my very good dedicated students that I've had for a long time, since the 60s and 70s. These are a few of my first students. And I taught my other son, Eric, knife fighting, which he has a fascination with knife. And now I got my younger son, Elijah, who I teach boxing to. I teach him Wing Chun, and I teach him a lot of sticky hands. So yes, I've always kept my students close to me, learning the art of survival. They need to survive. This is a very rough world, and I've always thought that way, and I want to make sure that they see things reality, and that's what I've done.
What would you say to a new person interested in learning the art of Wing Chun?
What would I say to an individual who's interested in the art of Wing Chun and just wants to learn? Well, one of the things I would definitely tell him from the get-go is that he must focus, he must have a passion for it, he has to be mostly sincere to himself. Why does he want to learn it? And I don't want to make sure that it's just for pastime. Wing Chun is a lifetime love. It's something that you learn forever. You don't learn it a little bit here and then walk away and learn a different art. You will never learn the essence. The essence of Wing Chun is to stick with it, focus, and love the art with passion. It's the only way that you will grow in this art. Other than that, you will be an individual who have mediocre. Wing Chun is something you must stick to it so you can learn the essence of the system and really make it yours.
Is the Wing Chun Kali System a convergence, hybrid, system, or is it taught as 2 separate arts simultaneously?
Wing Chun, it's a Wing Chun Kali System. It's actually, the reason I coined it Wing Chun Kali System is because I've learned Wing Chun and I've learned Kali. And I call it Wing Chun Kali System because I teach both systems. That doesn't mean that my Wing Chun, Kali is involved in it, or vice versa. Though, I will tell you that I have implemented some of my Wing Chun into my Kali system. All right, because this is the core of my system, it's what I do. And because I've done so much Chisao, that it will work very well with the Kali system. So yeah, they're two separate systems. And so yes, I teach it differently. I teach Wing Chun to be Wing Chun, I teach Kali to be Kali. And that's what it's all about.
What are your hopes, plans, and goals for the future of the Wing Chun Kali system, and what kind of legacy are you looking to leave behind?
My hope and Wing Chun and the legacy I want to leave behind, it's that Wing Chun Kali system will grow to its fullest, that everybody hopefully will understand the Wing Chun Kali system. And the legacy I want to leave behind is people like my son. He will carry the art and keep going with it and pass it down to his students. That's definitely my goal, that anybody that I teach and who is sincerely dedicated to the art may continue to grow and keep passing what I have taught. And definitely that's my hope in the Wing Chun Kali system. And again, my legacy will be that those individuals that I train, who has become my disciples, and those who are, in this case, my son, that they would take this art and even take it to the next level. Because there's always levels, there's always more to learn. We don't know it all, we continue to learn as life continues. And that is my goal for the Wing Chun Kali system.
How would you differentiate Chisao to the Kali knife?
How would I differentiate the Chisao to the Kali knife? Well, Chisao, it's actually self-explanatory. It talks about sticking hands, all right, and energy. In Chisao, you need good energy. It's good feedback. We both feed each other good energy. We understand. You learn the characters of the system. You learn to apply the character system, which pretty much, to learn good Chisao, you must have a very, very good understanding of your first form. Once you understand the first form, you'll understand the structure. There's a difference between structure of Wing Chun and the structure of Kali. Two different structures. So yes, in Wing Chun, the Chisao can take you to so many ways, but it's all about good energy, good rooting, and how to apply your characters. And when you go into knife is about not being there. And when I say not being there is that a knife doesn't take much to put you out of your misery. A knife can actually do so much damage because it's a knife, it's a weapon. And usually in the Philippine arts, it's definitely, knife is a big factor. So when I teach knife with a different mentality than Chisao. It's more, not longer to stick, but more into moving and how to hit at the same time. So yes, knife fighting is definitely slightly different from Chisao. Which is more dangerous? Well, definitely the one with the weapon at hand is more dangerous, all right? But can one help the other? Absolutely. If your Chisao is very good, your knife fighting can definitely go to a different level, all right? And that's how I implement my Wing Chun into Kali, with the sticks, with the knife. And that's not to shortchange the Philippine martial arts. The Philippine martial art, it's an excellent system. It's just my expression and how I express my knife fighting as opposed to other people who express their way of doing their knife. So yes, Chisao, it's an excellent way, plus it's the core of the system of Wing Chun. It's an excellent way to really apply any art, whether it be the Philippine art, whether it be any other art that you take. Once you understand Wing Chun, you understand the character, you understand the structure of Wing Chun, you understand the concept, the theories, and you understand the principles of the system, you can apply that to any art in the world. So yes, this is how I differentiate the Chisao in knife fighting.
Is Wing Chun solely an art for self-defense?
All right, the question is Wing Chun solely an art of self-defense? The truth is that Wing Chun is not about self-defense. Wing Chun is definitely about survival. It started at that from the get-go and has always been. There's a difference between survival mode and self-defense mode. All right. If you were using a different art, you can call it self-defense. Wing Chun is not about self-defense. Wing Chun is strictly about survival. And when I'll make a distinction between those two words, survival in my book means everything goes. Self-defense is different. Self-defense, you are more minimizing the art. Survival, you maximize it. You take it to a different level. So Wing Chun is at that level. If you were to take Kali, you can use the word self-defense in Kali because in Kali you have other stuff. You got grounding, you got boxing, you got kicking, you have other stuff in the Kali which you can make it a self-defense. But Wing Chun is a very destructive system. It's all about taking care of your opponent. So when you have people outside of Wing Chun who don't understand Wing Chun and continue to criticize Wing Chun for what it's not, well, ignorance sometimes is a bliss, and you're gonna find a lot of people talk like this because they have no idea what they're talking about. And people usually lend themselves some lip to talk about things of this nature that they have no understanding whatsoever. So again, Wing Chun is definitely a very, very, very effective art. It's strictly all about survival, and everything you learn about it, it's survival. This is why you learn some of the energy stuff in Wing Chun. It's not about self-defense. I have to tell you that every part of the system is about finishing your opponent expediently and effectively as fast as possible. And that's what Wing Chun is.